Good morning, Jefferson City. It is Monday, July 27th. I am Erin Shrimp. This is the NC Daily. I have taken my studio back, at least temporarily, and I still have my coffee mug. Nobody stole that, so that's good. I have a few things to get you caught up on from the end of last week and over the weekend in Sunday's paper. Today, Jefferson City's proposed downtown homeless shelter is on hold. We will talk about Amendment 1 and a particular project on an Osage County farm. And we have a state education policy story from Maddie Madison about school districts, how school districts are confronting a growing leadership challenge. Also, before we go, we have a few election things, a local sales tax question for Jefferson City voters that will be on the August ballot, and just a reminder about absentee voting. So we will get started downtown. We do start downtown often. We are downtown, so that kind of makes sense for us here at the News Tribune studio. But we begin downtown. Jefferson City's proposed homeless shelter is officially entering the most predictable phase of any difficult local government issue, a pause. Everyone agrees something needs to be done, just preferably somewhere else. Housing the Community Jefferson City, or HCJC, will ask the City Council to postpone its August 3rd vote on a proposed shelter and resource center at 107 Adams Street. The organization now plans to return to the Council on October 5th. HCJC wants to renovate the Adams property for a year-round daytime resource center and a 30-bed winter emergency shelter. The center would connect people with employment assistance, food programs, mental health resources, and other services. The proposal has supporters. Lots of supporters came out to the Planning and Zoning Commission hearing, but it also has detractors and local property owners. The Planning Commission ultimately recommended denying the rezoning request that HCJC needed to move forward with the plans. HCJC says it wants more time to explore other locations and get greater clarity about the standards the city will use to evaluate shelters, the standards that were used to make the Planning and Zoning Commission decision, if there were any. And frankly, this last part is where the city really needs to step up. HCJC has been searching for a permanent location for years. This has been part of the long-term plan there. It was a discussion point in the mayor's homelessness task force. So at some point, we support the idea, but not there. Stops being a position and becomes a municipal scavenger hunt. The city is now drafting shelter regulations with proposed safety and neighborhood coordination standards expected later this year. That is good. Jefferson City should take greater ownership of this larger issue about what services does the community need, where can they realistically operate, and what rules should apply. So maybe at the end of the day, this delay is good and will create a clearer and fairer process. But the city cannot keep outsourcing the hard part to people who are willing to show up with an actual plan like HCJC and their supporters did. So we will obviously closely continue to watch this issue as we have. And you can find more coverage on that from our local government reporter, Steffi Smith. Steffi's kind of the star of the Monday show today, as she is often. I think she has like 3 of the 5 articles today. So obviously, if you just go to News Tribune and Google Steffi, you'll get the highlights. This segment of the NT Daily is brought to you by MU Healthcare. MU Healthcare's front door is never too far from yours, with more than 80 locations across mid-Missouri and expert hospital care in Jefferson City and Columbia. MU Healthcare is committed to ensuring every Missourian has access to the region's most advanced diagnostic and treatment options. MU Healthcare, expert care close to you. Now we're going down the river a little bit to Osage County, where voters can see a real-world example of what Amendment 1 helps fund. The Missouri Soil and Water Conservation Program is expected to cover about 3/4 of the cost of a stream bank stabilization project at Ralph and Jerry Voss's dairy farm near Lynn. That program is funded through Missouri's existing 0.1% sales tax for state parks and soil water conservation. The same tax, voters will be asked to renew through Amendment 1 on the August 4th ballot. The Voss family has owned the farm along the Gasconade River since 1970, and flooding has become increasingly severe. They've already raised their farmhouse approximately 8 feet, but during a major flood in 2017, the water still reached the basketball hoop outside. That is generally the point where we say riverfront property is not sounding like a selling point anymore. But the planned project will reshape the eroded bank, place large rocks known as riprap along the shoreline, and install rock structures extending into the river to slow down the current. Crews will also create a planting area near the water to help native vegetation return. The goal is to keep the river from continuing to eat away at the farm while also improving water quality by preventing soil and phosphorus from washing into the Gasconade. Again, this work is supported by the conservation funding that voters will see on the August ballot. Amendment 1 does not create a new tax or raise the existing rate. It asks voters whether to continue the tax that has been in place since 1984. Half of the revenue supports Missouri state parks and historic sites. The other half funds soil and water conservation projects like this one. Sometimes ballot language can feel abstract, so it was good to have an example of what Amendment 1 looks like on the ground. Rocks, riverbanks, and helping keep Missouri farms from washing away. Our new education reporting, Maddie Madison, has one of her first long-form stories in Sunday's paper, and it prominently features Blair Oaks Superintendent Ben Meldrum. The story looks at why Missouri school districts are seeing more superintendent turnover, which has become an increasingly bigger problem since the COVID pandemic. Ben says the job has become much more demanding than it was 10 or 15 years ago. Superintendents are still responsible for student achievement, but they are also expected to manage budgets, navigate new legislation, communicate through crises like pandemics, oversee facilities, and respond to community concerns. Education leaders say turnover can be driven by workload, board relationships, financial pressure, family considerations, and changing community expectations around the role. It also creates a larger pipeline problem. Teacher shortages can lead to fewer future principals, which eventually means fewer experienced candidates for superintendent roles. Maddie has much more from Ben Meldrum and education leaders across the state on the News Tribune online and in Sunday's paper. Today's show is also sponsored by Hen House Fresh Foods, and these weekly specials are still available today and Tuesday, so you have 2 more days to stock up on whole boneless pork loins for $1.79 a pound. You can get a family pack of chicken drumsticks and thighs for $1.29 a pound. Fresh brats and beer brats are $3.29 a pound. And USDA Choice KC strip steaks are $13.99 a pound. In the produce section, you can find seedless watermelons, blueberries, and avocados are all on special. And of course, can't miss the bakery, which still has homestyle bread for $1.99 and a dozen oatmeal raisin cookies or 6 cinnamon rolls for $2.99. These specials are good through Tuesday, July 28th. Go see our friends at Hen House, your local market on Southwest Boulevard in Jefferson City. A couple of quick election hits before we go. Again, you can check out our local government reporter, Steffi Smith's article about how Jefferson City voters will decide whether to renew the city's half-cent capital improvement sales tax for another 10 years. The tax has been in place since the mid-1980s and supports projects including streets, stormwater improvements, public safety equipment, and maintenance at our city parks. The city and Cole County have also combined their money from their respective capital improvement taxes to complete larger projects, including the new Wildwood Drive extension. City officials say a 10-year renewal would provide a stable revenue source and could help finance larger infrastructure needs. This could eventually mean replacing that stingy High Street viaduct that we all talk about, developing a roundabout at West Edgewood Drive and West Stadium Boulevard, and improving streets downtown and on the south side. This is a renewal, not a new tax or an increase in the existing half-cent rate. It will appear as Proposition 1 at the very end of the Jefferson City ballot for Cole County voters. And this year's ballot is long. There are lots of contested primaries in our state reps, a statewide offices, 4 constitutional amendments, and a local proposition. So when you think you are finished voting, keep turning the pages until the machine or somebody has confirmed that you are actually finished. Another reminder, the deadline to cast a no-excuse absentee ballot for the August 4th primary is Monday, August 3rd. Any registered voter can vote early in person at the Cole County Clerk's office on the first floor of the Cole County Courthouse Annex at 311 East High Street. The office is open from 8 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday and will remain open until 5 on August 3rd. The clerk's office will also offer Saturday voting on August 1st from 8 a.m. until noon. The deadline to request a mailed absentee ballot has passed, so at this point, your options are voting early in person or voting at your polling place on Election Day. No excuse is required for in-person absentee voting. You do not have to prove you will be traveling, working, or undergoing an elaborate medical procedure. You can simply decide that next Monday works better than next Tuesday, and honestly, this is called how you plan ahead as an adult and make your life easier by voting when you want to and when it's most convenient for you. I know Blake and I will have to go and do no excuse absentee voting because, as we have talked about, Aaron needs a full vacation this summer, and that is coming up soon. So maybe we will have to have a little tag along with Blake and Aaron as they go absentee vote. But that is all you need to know today in Jefferson City. Thanks for starting your day with us at the NT Daily, and we will see you again tomorrow.